I invite all of us at this time, each one of us according to our own tradition or belief system or personal sense of moral conscience, to gather together in prayer as we begin this celebration. So let us be in prayer. The act of praying is sometimes like having a conversation with a force that personifies our higher purpose, our moral calling. So as our prayer of invocation this afternoon, let us enter into a prayerful conversation with Reverend Dr. King. With the spirit of justice in our hearts and the spirit of freedom and the spirit of dignity for all, we reach out to you, Dr. King. We feel we are living in troubled and frightening times as we stand at the threshold of an unprecedented political transition in our country that seems long on divisiveness and short on a sense of justice and common decency. Dr. King, we are scared. What's that you're telling us, Brother Martin? That the arc of the moral universe is long, but that it bends toward justice, but that the moral arc does not bend on its own. Rather, we must bend it. And sometimes exerting pressure toward justice is scary. That it was scary for 15-year-old Colette Colvin and 9 months later for Rosa Parks to suffer arrest because of their refusal to bow to the Jim Crow demand that they give up their seats on a crowded Montgomery bus so a white person could sit. But even with the courage of Sister Claudette and Sister Rosa as our guides, Dr. King, we are dispirited. The voices of racism and xenophobia have been emboldened, and we are overwhelmed with the swelling denigration of our immigrant brothers and sisters, and our Muslim brothers and sisters, and women, and the poor, and the vulnerable. We just want to shut ourselves off from this hate. But what's that you're telling us, Brother Martin? That we must speak up? That we must be active interrupters of this hate? That our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter, and that history will record that the greatest tragedy of this period of social transition will not be the strident clamor of bad people, but the appalling silence of good people, and that the students of color and their allies who were spit upon and worse at the Greensboro lunch counter sit-ins, and the oppressed sanitation workers in Memphis face their setbacks and abusers with collective solidarity and did not remain silent. We hear you, Dr. King, that we must not remain silent, but even as we resolve to raise our voices, we are still confused and devastated and depressed about the direction our country seems to be going. Where are we headed? What's that you're telling us, Brother Martin? That the parents of those 4 little Sunday school children in Birmingham, 14-year-old Addie Mae Collins and Carol Robertson, and 11-year-old Denise McNair and Cynthia Wesley, they were beyond devastated by the hate-fueled bombing deaths of their precious daughters. And even you, Brother Martin, suffered serious depression and self-questioning as you encountered so many violent obstacles and tragedies. But ultimately, a far greater force pulled you and your fellow travelers beyond despair and propelled you forward. We hear you, Brother Martin, that we too must be undaunted in our quest for justice. We heed your advice that we must strive to build a worldwide fellowship grounded in love that lifts neighborly concern beyond one's tribe and race and class and nation. We hear you, Brother Martin, that we need to relaunch a genuine revolution of values, and that we are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. We still have a choice today: nonviolent coexistence or violent co-annihilation. We hear you, Brother Martin, that this may well be our last chance to choose where we go from here. That is, the choice between chaos or community. And we are here today at the celebration of your legacy and your all too short ministry. We here today choose with you, beloved community. We understand, Brother Martin, that the arc of the moral universe, the arc of our moral revolution is long, but we will bend it toward justice. for your inspiration in propelling us forward, Brother Martin. We offer our prayers of gratitude and thanksgiving, and we shall not be moved. Amen.